Hello. You're here. I was expecting you. Sit down. You look tired. Or maybe you're just realizing the weight of the promise you made. Don't worry. I have everything under control. You will be fine. Look at me. Good. You are my most valuable asset. I cannot let your mind be distracted by trivial things. Power requires knowledge, and control requires understanding. So, I have selected a very specific text for our lesson today. It will help both of us. Think of it as required reading for those who wish to walk in my path. Now, close your eyes if you must. Just listen to my voice. Let me guide you. The Prince by Machiavelli. Chapter 17. Cruelty and compassion, whether it's better to be feared or love. Continuing with our list of qualities, I'm sure every leader would wish to be seen as compassionate rather than cruel. All the same, he must be careful not to use his compassion unwisely. Cesare Borgia was thought to be cruel, yet his cruelty restored order to Romagna and united it, making the region peaceful and loyal. Just like you. When you think about it, he was much more compassionate than the Florentines, whose reluctance to be thought cruel led to disaster and Pistoia. A ruler mustn't worry about being labeled cruel when it's a question of keeping his subject loyal and united. Using a little exemplary severity, he will prove more compassionate than the leader whose excessive compassion leads to public disorder, muggings, and murder. That kind of trouble tends to harm everyone, while the death sentences that a ruler hands out affect only the individuals involved. But of all rulers, a man new to power simply cannot avoid a reputation for cruelty, since a newly conquered state is a very dangerous place. Virgil puts these words in Queen Dido's mouth. The difficult situation and the news of my kingdom force me to do these things and guard my borders everywhere. All the same, a leader must think carefully before believing and responding to certain allegations and not get frightened over nothing. He should go about things coolly, cautiously, and humanly. If he's too trusting, he'll get careless. And if he trusts no one, he'll make himself unbearable. These reflections prompt the question: is it better to be loved rather than feared, or vice versa? I can feel your focus drifting. Bring it back to my voice. The answer is that one would prefer to be both, but since they don't go together easily, if you have to choose, it's much safer to be feared than loved. We can say this of most people, that they are ungrateful and unreliable. They lie, they fake, they're greedy for cash, and they melt away in the face of danger. So long as you're generous and, as I said before, not in immediate danger, they're all on your side. They'd shed their blood for you. They'd give you their belongings, their lives, their children. But when you need them, they turn their backs on you. The ruler who has relied entirely on their promises and taken no other precautions is lost. Friendship that comes at a price, and not because people admire your spirit and achievements, may indeed have been paid for, but that doesn't mean you really possess it, and you certainly won't be able to count on it when you need it. Men are less worried about letting down someone who has made himself loved than someone who makes himself feared. Love binds when someone recognizes he should be grateful to you, but since men are a sad lot, gratitude is forgotten the moment it's inconvenient. Fear means fear of punishment, and that's something people never forget. Hey, don't fall asleep. I have so much more to tell you. I need you awake. All the same, while a ruler can't expect to inspire love when making himself feared, he must avoid arousing hatred. Actually, being feared is perfectly compatible with not being hated. And a ruler won't be hated if he keeps his hands off his subjects' property and their women. If he really has to have someone executed, he should only do it when he has proper justification and manifest cause. Above all, he mustn't seize other people's property. A man will sooner forget the death of his father than the loss of his inheritance. Of course, there are always reasons for taking people's property, and the ruler who has started to live that way will never be short of pretexts for grabbing more. On the other hand, reasons for executing a man come more rarely and pass more quickly. But when a ruler is leading his army and commanding large numbers of soldiers, then, above all, he must have no qualms about getting a reputation for cruelty. Otherwise, it will be quite impossible to keep the army united and fit for combat. One of Hannibal's most admired achievements was that despite leading a huge and decidedly multiracial army far from home, there was never any dissent among the men or rebellion against their leader, whether in victory or defeat. The only possible explanation for this was Hannibal's tremendous cruelty, which, together with his countless positive qualities, meant that his soldiers always looked up to him with respect and terror. The positive qualities without the cruelty wouldn't have produced the same effect. Historians are just not thinking when they praise him for this achievement and then condemn him for the cruelty that made it possible. To show that Hannibal's other qualities wouldn't have done the job alone, we can take the case of Scipio, whose army mutinied in Spain. Scipio was an extremely rare commander not only in his own times, but in the whole of recorded history. But he was too easygoing, and as a result gave his troops a freedom that was hardly conducive to military discipline. Fabius Maximus condemned him for this in the Senate, claiming that he had corrupted the Roman army. When one of his officers sacked the town of Locri, Scipio again showed leniency. He didn't carry out reprisals on behalf of the townsfolk and failed to punish the officer's presumption, so much so that someone defending Scipio in the Senate remarked that he was one of those many men who don't make mistakes themselves, but find it hard to punish others who do. If Scipio had gone on leading his armies like this, with time his temperament would have undermined his fame and diminished his glory. But since he took his orders from the Senate, not only was the failing covered up, but it actually enhanced his reputation. Going back then to the question of being feared or loved, my conclusion is that since people decide for themselves whether to love a ruler or not, while it's the ruler who decides whether they're going to fear him, a sensible man will base his power on what he controls, not on what others have freedom to choose. But he must take care, as I said, that people don't come to hate him. We have reached the end of our lesson today. You have listened well. I knew you would. You're mine after all. And I have high expectations for what you can achieve under my supervision. I want you to sleep deeply tonight. Dream of our next meeting. And remember, I control the good nightmares and the good dreams. Sleep well, my valuable subordinate. I'll be watching you.